Welcome to the Prophecy Club. It's real important today. Topic, reports. I said reports. Dollar collapse, new system, massive arrests. I'm going to start with a big fat disclaimer because I have unconfirmed information that I cannot share. It is important information, but if this does not happen, do not blame me. I am a watchman. I'm doing my best to bring you, as best as I can, accurate information to you. And if God would just tell me exactly what He wants, I'd be happy to bring that to you. So that's what I do. Point number 3, God has not told me that this stuff I'm about to share with you is about to happen. But I do want you to recall that I have been saying this watch stuff on or about associated with July the 4th, 2026. Something is going to happen. Circumstances point to, and I warn you, so this is your warning. Cannot prove any of this, but take it for a warning. Okay. Massive arrests. Let's start with December 20th, 2017. This was when I first found out about it. So Trump signed an executive order that basically said if you're doing serious human rights abuse or corruption, not only are you going to be arrested, but your property will be confiscated. You can pause and read it. And by the way, I got so much information today, and I've covered a lot of this in the past. So I'm just going to have to say pause and read it on a lot of this stuff. If you don't know it, pause and read it. 11/11/2019, Trump was in his first term. He was about to get on the helicopter, and the press corps stopped him, and he said this. In light of all the things going on, you know what I mean by that, the fake news, the commies of this world, all the bad things that went on, it's called the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done it but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Now, when I heard that, just like you, I would be thinking, oh, hot dog, we're going to see a bunch of arrests really soon. Well, they didn't come real soon. Hint, hint. Then 3:17, let me back up, 3:17 p.m., one day I thought that was going to be an address or a date. I do have a date for it. But anyway, I heard audible voice that said massive arrests, massive arrests. So I think I have a thus saith the Lord that massive arrests are coming. Now look at the date, 9/7/24. Trump. With your vote, this election, their lying, cheating, thieving, hoaxing, plotting will come to an end. It's going to come to an end. We're going to cash out the corrupt political class. We're going to restore our republic. Hear those words, restore our republic. And we're going to drain the swamp, and we're going to do it once and for all. We're going to get it done. Does drain the swamp important? Yes. What about restore our republic? Is that a new republic, a new name he's saying? I suspect so. Then in this interview, again the date, back in 24, Trump declares war on crooked, dishonest Washington establishment. They're going to be held accountable. Now, this was several years back. There was 457,000 sealed indictments, but I just checked. This is up to date as of today. 5,700, let me try it again. 579,880 sealed indictments still exist. Now, one sealed indictment always means one person is arrested, but one sealed indictment can mean a whole bunch of people is arrested. So, who knows? Let's go on. Again, I've covered this before. I'm just going to move quick. 2017, Mark Taylor. This is the guy that said Trump would be president, I think before even Trump knew he was going to be president. When they start rounding these people up, for these indictments, there could be civil unrest. That could be the internal revolution. That's my suspicion. They're thinking to drop their hammer on a lot of these people, and they're going to start rounding these guys up, Skipping. They will use military-style tribunals. Are you listening? Military-style tribunals. Donald Trump is getting his team in place where they can go after these people and prosecute them because there's going to be military-style tribunals. Now, what does that mean? Let me back up. See, in a civil case, You have the right to remain silent, right to attorney if you can't afford one be appointed to you, and all of these rights. But in military tribunals, not. And a military tribunal can try hundreds of people that have done the same thing all at once. And yeah, you can appeal, but once the gavel comes down, it's pretty much set. Iran, Russia, North Korea. This is Barry Wunsch, Canadian prophet. Today I was out on the highway. He tells how God spoke to him. Now I'm going to skip on to what he said. I was again taken to the Spirit over America the beautiful, and I covered the land. The people were gathering, big gatherings and little gatherings, everything in between. Skipping, United States of America into the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, individual liberty and justice for all. I realized what I was seeing before my eyes was the rebirthing of the Republic of the United States of America. That is what I'm told will be the new name of the new republic. You remember you already was shown that we get a new constitution, okay? Coming into godly biblical kingdom governance, notice the word governance, the world as we know it is coming to an end. I was then taken behind the curtain of a very large stage where President Donald John Trump was surrounded by family, friends, generals, colleagues, and heavy security. The moment was nearly at hand for all to see the greatest victory of light over darkness America's ever seen. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, that's talking about the inauguration back in 2024. Is it? Or is it still a future event? Hang on. Arrests lead to suitcase nukes. I've read this many times. Essentially, what Jason saw was that there was a change in our finances. Hang on to that. Then he saw massive arrests. He saw Donald Trump assuming control as the new president. Wait a minute. Wasn't that the inauguration? See, same thing. Or no. What if this is a future event? What else does he see? Then he heard a huge explosion. A suitcase nuke was detonated. You can pause and read it if you want to. If you haven't read it, you should read it. Let me move on. Brandon Biggs' last days, he was shown that suddenly our money transferred to a digital code. And I've got like 8 or 9 people seeing the same thing. Almost like a crypto code. It was moving like it was alive. Skipping. The Lord said the dollar's about to be turned into a digital dollar. He said it'd be worth half what it's worth right now. Well, wait a minute. The dollar has fallen in value 50% over the last 12 to 18 months. So is that past? No. I think it's still to come in the days ahead. So a $100 bill would be worth $50. That's probably already true. Then he showed me the banks. All went bankrupt. All the money that was in the banks, whether you were rich or poor, the bank seized it all. Shut up, Stan, just read. So I'll shut up and just read. I hope you're catching it. I hope you realize this is God warning us. All the money of the banks was seized. It was now the property of the bank. They seized all the money of the banks. Loans you have on your house, cars, everything. I saw they took all of it. They called it a debt jubilee because they couldn't foreclose and take everybody's houses and everybody's cars because the dollar had crashed. Skipping, let's go on. The Lord showed me lines of people standing at Target stores. They weren't dressed like they were in poverty. They had nice clothes on. In other words, it was a surprise. Happened overnight. Same thing David Phillips saw and others. There was hardly anything left in the stores. Skipping. Certain things would appear with gold and with silver. Okay, well, now Shane Warren was told that the price of silver is going to skyrocket far more than gold. Is that about to happen? Well, silver and gold has gone up the last year. But I wouldn't call that skyrocketing. Now, Dana Coverstone, what he's shown in this, you can pause and read it if you want to, but it says that the U.S. Mint is no longer going to be making coins. And it starts with the pennies. They've already stopped making pennies. So my guess is that the other coins will also stop. Why? Now, some people say that they're still going to be using paper. But the prophecies don't talk about paper. I don't have one prophecy saying that we're going to get a new dollar, a new paper dollar. They all say, all of them say digital currency, so that no man can buy or sell save he had the mark in the name of the beast with the number of his name, right? Okay, now, new republic, new name, new flag. This is the headline of a program I made. Look at the date, 1/20/21. I've been talking about this for a long time. Here's another one, 8/5/21. I'm telling you, we've been talking about these arrests coming for a long time. Henry Gruver is my favorite speaker of the 160 guest speakers we've had at the Prophecy Club. And if there's anybody that hears from God, it is going to be Henry Gruver and Dimitri Duduman. So, this is important. He saw a vision, not a dream, a vision. I opened the door to see Donald Trump and his wife dressed like a king. Now, does this mean he's going to be called a king? No, not necessarily. I think he'll be given the power and authority of a king, which is pretty close to what he has right now. His wife is carrying his shawl on her left arm made of gold tweed with big royal jewels in it. Mr. Trump, to what do we owe the honor of your visit? Oh, Henry. Never mind, we're family. This is just a family visit. Just came to see you. What date? March 2016. He sits, his wife puts his shawl over his shoulders and drapes down in front of him, and he stands beside him. It's beautiful. It's made for royalty. The whole visit was strictly family. He was asking about our different children and how they're doing and we're visit. Finally, he stands up and says, well, I've got a lot to do. I'll be back. I'll be back. Now, again, that was 2016. Did he come back? Yep, he did. So this is kind of confirmed. He'll be back. 2021, Anita Walker. This is important. The TV came on and made the sound of the emergency broadcast system, like we heard back in the 80s. The emergency beeping sound, and he says the television shifted to KH and NP. I'll just use their initials. Plotting now, KH would become number 1, P would become number 2, that they could put in place all the bad things they'd planned, and that was their plan. They didn't get their plan, but that was their plan. It went silent, and the vision shifted back to the same voice saying, America will not go without a president. Due to the cheating of the 2020, Donald John Trump is now your president. The vision ended. That is what happened. Then if you go to 2021, Jack Rigney had a dream. I saw armored battalion of tanks, Humvees, and roof-mounted machine guns and armored personnel carriers with cannons go to the Capitol, the Supreme Court, and the White House. Army personnel disarmed all Secret Servicemen, guards, police guarding those 3 buildings. Then the Army personnel went back in all 3 different buildings and took whatever they wanted. He saw the military take temporary control of the nation to arrest the evildoers and the wrongdoers, and that's the way the Constitution would have it done. Let's go on to the next one. Timothy Dixon, 22. I heard the EBS warning. Okay, that's 2 people heard that. Then it came over the telephone saying, stay tuned. This is the emergency broadcast system alert. You'll be advised to turn on your local television, radio station to hear the accurate message from the President of the United States. We turned our TV on, and it was President Trump. Now, wait a minute. That's back in 22. That's 2 years before he was elected the second time. So, the dream hit it. Okay, let's go on. President of the United States. It was 5 o'clock this evening, it is 5 o'clock this evening, Eastern Standard Time. The United States is in a joint military operation now underway to regain control of the Capitol as it was breached by a foreign agency and a foreign identity. Plain-looking pickup trucks, some black, some brown, putting people inside and coming out of the Capitol and the White House. Then the TV went blank, totally blank. A man appeared to me and Rose, sitting in a chair, his wife. Can you hear the sound of the chains rattling? Can you hear the sound of the chains rattling? It repeated it twice, not because they didn't listen to it, because the Bible says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. It's God confirming this is of him. Let's go to Barry Wunsch, 2021. I woke up at 1:30. As I saw the front of a cover newspaper, victory, Donald John Trump sweeps the nation. Well, that happened. Okay, he saw it in 21. That happened in 24. It's time for the nation to celebrate like after a time of war, but we didn't see a whole lot of celebrations, not at that inauguration. So is it talking about something in the future? Let's go on. There was still work to be done. There was still high tension in the air. I was taken to a fence line outside of the White House and saw a huge crowd gathering. The American people came out onto the streets to see what was going on. I saw people who had conspired and engineered evil surrounded inside the White House with nowhere to run, nowhere to escape, and it was the end for them. Now, I want to believe that the people in the White House now are the good guys. But it may be talking about yet a future event, and it could be that, yeah, there's still some of them in the Trump administration that he's been allowing to be there that's going to be arrested. Let's go on. Then I saw military troops supporting for safety enter the White House and the buildings and escort the evil ones like prisoners of war, brought out under the front lawn of the White House, lined up row upon row in handcuffs and shackles. Wait a minute, Stan. That kind of sounds like it should already happen, but it didn't happen. Well, okay, maybe it didn't happen. But maybe it's about to happen, just changed a little bit, okay? Their day was over. The crowd cheered with great outbursts as each group was brought out and put on display. The people in the streets cheered as evil was being dealt with. The patriots were singing anthems and songs of victory in the streets, giving thanks unto God. We haven't seen that yet either. All the corrupted, I thought we'd probably see that July the 4th. We didn't. I mean, we saw a lot of celebrations, but I don't think we saw anything like this. All the corrupted ones were extracted, marched into the streets, surrounded by army, marching them through the streets in humiliation. They were about to face the consequences for all their evil and corruption. They were brought out into a portable holding area like a mobile army base unit for processing to face righteous judges. What is a military mobile holding unit? That would be for military tribunals. They were going on trial, facing justice for the highest consequences, and would get all that had coming to them for their crimes against humanity. I'm taken to the inauguration ceremony for Donald Trump, surrounded by military. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, that's true. He probably had military in the inauguration. But my question is this still yet some near future event? Are we about to get a new constitution, a new name, a new flag? There was no showboating. This was serious business. The job was finished. Time to heal and rebuild. I saw the public opposed to Trump instantly see truth that they could no longer deny. They could now see the evil that had been done by these corrupt ones, and the spirit of anarchy in them was broken. I saw big military cargo planes. This has not happened. Open ramps and special teams from the United States loaded pallets of legal documents, departing to other nations to go and do likewise, to their foreign dignitaries awaiting the arrival to other nations. Has not happened. Plans were strategically set in place to arrest and bring foreign corrupt leaders to justice. Well, that kind of happened to Maduro down in Venezuela, but that's not the picture. The picture is this is happening in many nations. The world will never be the same. I watched them deploy into nation after nation, and they rejoiced in the streets as justice was served with freedom. Truth and righteousness flowed like waters. Those who were left standing had a great reward. It was revival time, a time to heal, so great things are coming. Now notice those words, revival time. Okay, let's talk about dollar collapse. Brandon Biggs, I read this recently. He saw a 100 bill flying as it were a flag, and it changed to a digital code like a digital crypto writing. Then the Lord said, the dollar's about to turn to a digital dollar. Do you know, I think I've got, 10, 11 prophecies saying the dollar, none of them say it goes to coin and paper. Not a one. They all say it goes digital. And it'll be worth half what it is now as the new digital dollar. He showed all the banks, seized the money inside of them. Now, he saw that in another one, so I only have one prophecy saying the banks or the money is seized, and that's all from him. Now, somebody sent me this in email. Thank you for your emails. And this was back in 24. But what was said is very powerful. So this lady on the right is an insider, and this guy's interviewing her. Listen to some of the things she says. They've already made the solution. They've already developed what they want to be in the new financial governance system. After this new Bretton Woods moment, they just need some sort of a big event on the scale of World War II or some large event that's equally disruptive to bring in a new financial governance system. Well, that may be July the 4th and celebrating for it. I don't know, but it might be. Then let's go to Shane Warren, 2012. He saw a financial storm. Is that what's about to hit? Some people would say it's sort of already hit over the last 12 to 18 months. Is it about to get worse? Then he saw it's raining dollar bills almost like they're worthless. In other words, coins and paper, what the prophecies say, is going away and it's turning digital. The devaluing of the dollar caused many rioting in the streets. I saw riots, and then he saw, give us our entitlements. So apparently there's a bit of a bad time coming. By the way, it'd be a good time for you to call 800-200-GOLD. Make sure you don't lose your life savings. Then he saw a New Madrid fault, earthquake. I hope that that's a small one. We are praying that if it comes, it will be a small one. So all of this could be right at the door. At the same time, here's the good news. At the same time, I saw the church arise with healing in the wings, but notice it's not just healing. I saw God prospering greatly, many acquiring things, and a great transfer of wealth coming to the hands of believers. Churches became cities of refuge. The body of Christ stood up like a mighty sleeping giant in the earth and began to minister. Remember what I was told? As the judgment hits, so will my miracles. I think this is it. Mighty sleeping giant in the earth began to minister. People were coming to them. Signs, wonders, and miracles were poured out all over America. I saw America being shaken as the worldly couldn't go to the government for help anymore. They finally had to go back to the church. Entire cities became cities of refuge. There was life saved, peace in the presence of God in the cities. People running the cities because revival. I'm telling you, the greatest miracles, what God told me is miracles greater than anyone has seen going back to Adam and Eve. You and I are about to see that. Brandon Biggs, 23. I will not let America become a goat nation, for your founding fathers made a covenant with me, and suddenly he opened my eyes. And I saw the Plymouth Rock, and I saw the pilgrims crying out to God because they made a covenant with him. They had their hands locked together and worshiping him for the land that they had been given. They said, we'll make this a land for you, O God. And they did. That's the covenant they made. I forget the name of it now. He said, you see those prayers? They still echo to me. They're still crying out to me in my ears to make a nation under God. I will honor those prayers. Then I saw George Washington crying out for him on the battlefield to win the battles against the British. He was crying out for God to help him because they were losing. God gave him strength in those darkest hours. God fought for this nation, and he gave victory to our founding fathers. Let me just say, God puts down kings and raises up kings. He puts down nations, he raises up nations. And it was not our finances, it was not our precious land or our farmers. It was the hand of God that made this nation. He said, there's great correction coming. You will not be a goat nation, you will be a sheep nation. Great revival beyond anything you comprehend is coming. No man is going to get the glory for it. I saw the hand of God, and you can pause and read all of it there if you want to read all of it. But let me just conclude with this. I think that we're about to see some major changes. So I cannot guarantee this is about to happen, but I can guarantee that you need to make certain that you're ready for it. If you don't have if you still have your money in paper, that's defined as gold. I mean, that's defined as dollar bills, or maybe in the bank, or maybe in the stock market, your definition, then 800-200-GOLD would be a good place for you to call. If you don't have some of these, I would recommend you get them. So what is it? When a nuclear device is detonated, the wind blows the dust settling on everything around you. You breathe, eat, absorb radioactive iodine, which kills your thyroid, killing you. A simple fix is to immediately start taking potassium iodide pills, which then flood your thyroid with good iodine, keeping the radioactive iodine out. You need about 1 bottle per person per exposure for everyone from infant to adult available, 10 bottles for a gift of $150 or $20 per bottle at prophecyclub.com. Shelf life 5 to 8 years, potentially more. If you refrigerate, I keep mine frozen. Keep them frozen because they all evaporate. They're pills, but it's just a gas. So I keep mine in the freezer. ProphecyClub.com, potassium iodide pills. If you don't want to lose your life's savings, if you have an IRA or a 401k, the thing to do is call 800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. These folks are Christians and they specialize in helping people not lose their life savings in the event of a stock market crash and things like that. Look, most of the 401ks, most of the IRAs are in paper, backed by paper, and as Lindsey Williams says, if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. You can lose it all. 1-800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. Hey, give them a call. Doesn't hurt, doesn't cost you anything. See if they can give you some good advice.